On today's show, the Mavericks' biggest problem is their identity, but it's not the only one.
This is Cooper Flagg, and you're listening to Locked On Mavs.
Dog, all of them, all five.
Explain yourself.
All these changes, I still got my dog Dwight Powell.
That's right.
You are Locked On Mavs.
Great,
Your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave.
Your team every day.
I'm gonna get a city like that.
And welcome. You're locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years. Thanks for being an everydayer, making Locked On Mavs your first listen in the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network. You guys helped get us there. Joining me, as always, my co-host, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years, right alongside me, the identity individual, the one more thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
We should put on the thumbnail for this episode like a thumbprint, like identity series.
Oh, yeah.
Now, shout out to the Mavs. You got the Rick Carlisle coming into town on Wednesday night, and a C squad for the Pacers. And then this weekend, they actually get on a plane and fly high in the air to Mexico City.
They will fly there. They will fly all the way there, and I'll mark that game down in pen.
Oh.
I think that's a good. I think that's a good one for the Mavs. That'll be a good game.
Before you mark it down, did you mow your grass?
I have mowed my grass, but I had to move this pot to the side, and I had to, you have to like mow around. Like you can't just mow around it. You got to actually like move the pot and like do that.
Yeah, because if you don't move it, you're gonna be trapped by the smoke of your neighbor after Halloween.
Today's episode, we're ranking the Mavericks' biggest problems right now. Mavs are 1-3. They've got some issues. They've been talked about a lot. And so we'll get into it. We'll talk about, I think injuries is obviously one we'll talk about. The Mavs have some new injuries, some injuries that were one injury and now is a different injury that we've got to talk about and address with some players. Anthony Davis now on the injury list. I'm sure there's some other problems we'll get into, but let's start here, Isaac Harris. The Mavs' biggest problem is identity. I think everything stems from identity. We know what to expect from the Dallas Mavericks. You can say, obviously, the biggest problem is they're missing Kyrie Irving. Yes, but we knew that going in. I think if the Mavs were competing and without Kyrie, and we were like, okay, we didn't expect the Mavericks to be the #1 seed, the #2 seed without Kyrie, right? Right now, they're not living up to even those expectations that were lowered because of some of these injuries that the Mavs have dealt with. I think it is the identity of this team that they're struggling with. And some of it is, I understand, actually. Because they did bring 13 of the 15 players back from last year, but a bunch of those guys didn't play very much. Like Lively and Anthony Davis played less than 10 games together last year, right? And so there is a lot of newness. There's Cooper Flagg to introduce to all this. There is there's not really a point guard. D'Angelo Russell then is now introduced to all this, and he is now a big cog in what the Mavericks are going to do because he is now the only serviceable point guard that the Mavs have on the roster, it seems, according to Jason Kidd and his rotations. And then the defensive identity, I don't know what the Mavs' defensive identity is. They're trying to figure that out. They're supposed to be playing big, but Gafford has been out. Lively has been out. Lively has not been playing. And you're like, all right, well, then they can't play big. So then they don't know what their identity is because of injuries, because of personnel. And I think that identity is just shaping everything else. I think the identity shapes even how Cooper Flagg has played, that he is trying to figure out what he's trying to do in this offense, trying to figure out what he's trying to do with the rest of these players. I saw our guy Tyler Metcalf from No Ceilings and the Locked On NBA Draft Show, No Ceilings. He said Cooper Flagg's start feels a lot like it did at Duke, where we had some shaky starts against top competition, despite some of the numbers he was putting up. In those games, he looked like he was overthinking things, trying to do too much, and he was figuring out the speed of the game. I get the same vibes from his first few games of the Mavericks. When he plays simple, he's making good decisions, smart passing reads, and getting good looks. Since he's been thrust into this pseudo point guard role, though, he's pretty clearly and understandably looks sped up, which is what he's trying to do too much. I'm worried about it. I'm not worried about it long term. That switch will inevitably flip. I think that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like they're trying to push him into this different role. They're trying to figure out what their offensive identity is. They're trying to fit Cooper Flagg into it, and I think it's affecting him as well.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Cooper at all. I'm kind of confused by a little bit of the discourse online. I mean, he's playing out of position, and then he's only played 4 games. In one of those games, he hurt his shoulder in the first play of the game. So I don't.
You know what I found? Cooper doesn't have stands like that other players have had. He does have haters though. I think that is part of it.
Well, I think there's a portion of Luka fans that went over to the dark side, and it's just natural. Like they kind of view him as like the replacement, or who Nico is kind of, and anything he does not great. It's going to be
anything the
out,
Mavs do in any way.
Yeah. But yeah, with Cooper, Cooper, I don't even have as like a big talking point right now, because I think they're doing him a disservice by playing him out of position. He's not a point guard. That was one of the conversations. I was talking with some media people after the game, after one of the pressers of the OKC game, and we were just talking about the Cooper experience so far, and it's like kind of a common thing of, I kind of feel for him a little bit, because this just isn't his position. Like he's 18 years old. That person reminded me of like Kobe stats when he was 18, LeBron stats when he was 18. LeBron had better stats and stuff, but it's like he's at 18. They're asking him to play this like pseudo point guard, 0.4 role, and it's not that. But the identity part, I'm fully with you. They don't have an identity, and they have a plan or an offensive system, which dropping on one more thing about that later on in the day, trying to explain it a little bit more of what this new offensive system looks like. But one of the things I talk about there is like the personnel to run this Princeton like motion evolution of an offense in the flow. What Jay Triano is trying to do is like, you got to have these certain parts for this movement and shooters that provide the spacing for all the different spots on the floor. And they don't have some of that. And they have the big man that is key for this Princeton type of offense, but they don't have the shooters.
They have one big man right now. It seems.
I thought you were telling me to stop.
No, they have no. I'm just saying
right.
they have one big man. It seems, and they've been playing Anthony Davis as the 5 with Lively out, obviously Gafford out too. It just that has affected their identity too. I want to remind some people what Kobe's stats were his rookie year. He averaged 15 minutes a game and only like 7 points. Shot 41% from the field.
Didn't start.
Started 6 games out of the 71 that he played. He was on the Lakers, and then next year he was an all-star coming off the bench for 78 of the 79 games he played. Like obviously that's a big leap and all that, but and that was back in 1998. But it like 18-year-olds don't usually play well in the NBA.
I just don't think he's playing like drastically bad.
Well,
so
in one game he did, but in the other 3 I think he was okay.
Yeah, and he was hurt this past one, so I don't really hold anything with that. But it's like, I didn't expect Cooper Flagg to come out and score 32, in one of his first like few games and stuff. So, their identity was supposed to be built around defense, and they haven't been good defensively. No. And that's been, when you build your identity around something and then you're not that, then you're kind of scrambling to try to figure out who you are, and they don't really know who they are right now.
So today we're ranking the Mavs' biggest problem. I had identity as number 1. Is that where you landed? Yeah.
Like who are they? Like when we were talking about where were they going to finish in the season of like defensive ranking, we were saying like top 5. Can they be top 5? They set the goal for top 3. I pulled out some different stats the other day about top 8 of like, hey, if you're in the top 8 last year, where you finished in standings and how many wins those teams had and all this stuff. And it's like, well, crap, you're not even that. Like, you're not even a good defensive team right now. They play better against OKC on defense. But it was always going to be, hey, we're going to hone in on being this great defensive team, and hopefully our offense is going to be good enough until Kyrie comes back. And right now, both of them has been bad, and you're literally the worst offensive team in the league. I said this earlier today, or later on today, but they scored under 95 points in 2 out of the 4 games. Last year, and the whole season, they did it 1 time. So they're just not generating points, and you got to be able to score the basketball. So it's just tough right now, and it's a tough system to learn. It takes a while. Any research you do or anybody you talk to about this flow Princeton type of offense, they're going to tell you it's hard to implement. It takes time, but there hasn't even been some signs of it of at times. Like, yeah. So I think there's reason to have concern, but also reason to be like, all right, well, maybe it's going to look better over a little bit of time.
And we even saw that in the preseason, where sometimes I'll look at the offense and go, they're not beating this OKC fourth string team as much as I thought that they would be beating them, right? Like, even some of that stuff, you go, okay, well, then I chalked it up to, all right, well, it's preseason, they're just getting warmed up. Like, well, let's see. Okay, they're not beating this like second string other team. Like, they, it just kept happening, and it was a concern we had all offseason, and now it's just reared its ugly head in just a.
Well, it's what I mean. It's kind of like what Max said post game. He said they're playing with a lot of stress. They're playing disorganized. He's like, we know it's going to take time, and it's gonna they will get used to it. He's like, but we also have a sense of urgency because we're 1-3, and I think that's I would be a little bit more concerned if they were like, yeah, we don't care at all. It's just going to happen over time. No, they have some urgency in it.
You like how the coach talks?
I don't know. Kid. Yeah, it was mainly just about missed shots for Kid yesterday.
I'm not playing. I'm watching, just like you guys.
That was about timeout. That quote, by the way, was about timeouts. He's been taking timeouts.
He has. Yeah, he has been taking them.
But about D'Angelo Russell,
I have to apologize that you felt that he should have played more.
I felt that for you in like a real deep way when he wasn't playing D'Angelo Russell. Coming up, the other biggest problems for the Dallas Mavericks. I think injuries has been a massive thing, and it's not just Kyrie, and it's not just Daniel Gafford. I'll tell you why coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by our friends over at Quo. Go check out Quo because you have a small business. You have to figure out what is going on with your business all the time, and you can't just watch everything all the time. You can't just keep your phone on you all the time, watching every single message, answering every single message like that. You've got to take some time for yourself. One of the tools that helps that is Quo. It's a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. The number one business phone system that streamlines customer communications, works right through an app on your phone or your computer. So no more carrying two phones. No more relying on a landline. Who does that? You can check out Quo and see why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo. Used to be called Open Phone. Now it's called Quo, Quo. Get started free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/LockedOnNBA, quo.com/LockedOnNBA. If you've got existing numbers with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Also, brought to you by Rippling. Rippling will help you out with your business if you're a business owner with all the different other kinds of things. If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow you down and slow your teams down, and they just don't work together. That's not SaaS, that's SAD, Software as a Disservice. Oh, I just realized that was the acronym. Software as a Disservice.
Yeah, it is, baby.
SAAD. SAD. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling, that's nice, Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance, all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. 3 things the Princeton offense requires. The Mavs don't have right now. And right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/LockedOnNBA. That's 6 months free. Rippling, RIPPLING.com/LockedOnNBA. That's rippling.com/LockedOnNBA for 6 months free.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs. Being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, that's what we call our listeners, listening every day. We appreciate you for checking out the show and listening to it. We've got a text line where we text rumors every single time we see a Mavs rumor or a news thing, or a bunch of times during games. We'll give you a game preview. We'll give you game notes during the game and all that. Text the number 214-643-8637 or check the link in the description, the QR code, and help support the show. We appreciate you. Isaac and I be sending messages on that all the time over there. All right, Isaac. We're ranking the Mavericks' biggest problems. What is the next biggest problem after identity for the Mavericks?
AD's conditioning. I mean, I just got to throw it out there. I mean, it's been a topic of conversation. It was some conversations before the game. There's some people that were connected to him earlier in his career that I know have noticed it too. And we're talking about pregame. So
we've all noticed it.
Yeah.
Like it is.
And just the what, the off season, because I think it's like hey, we know he's not in the best condition right now. He's not at the best playing weight. It feels like we're doing all the talking points all over again. So then it's kind of like, well, why is it? And that's been some of the conversation stuff I've tried to have. And you look back about the summer and it's like the eye surgery and just all the different stuff that happened around that and how much did that sideline him of like what he could actually do.
Completely.
Yeah. And
it did. He couldn't work out in the off season.
I can't tell if you're joking or not.
No, I'm not. I'm
really not either. Like
I'm really not. It's kind of wild, but like he almost like I don't know how close it got, but he almost like lost his vision like in that eye, and he couldn't work out and he couldn't get in condition. And as much as that sounds crazy, like I've had so many people say, well, why didn't he just wear an eye patch and like run, or why didn't he run in the dark or swim in the dark? Like I don't know how it works, but that is the thing that has been said that has affected his conditioning for sure. And then he came in with the said, well, I come in overweight because I always do that. And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, he's just not in the best of basketball shape right now. And I get it. He's putting up counting stats and he's scoring and stuff, but you see it the most defensively. He is when he's on and he's healthy and he's in basketball like shape. He's playing the best. He's one of the best defenders in the entire league. But there's a lot of times that you're seeing these teams come off screens and they're trying to play drop at times, and AD's just not moving. Like he's not coming up to defend the shot. He's not switching off on guys AD used to be able to see him switch on the perimeter and not just like hold his ground, but like defend really well. And right now it's like there's a little like feet in cement at times, and he'll get there. I'm not worried about that. But right now at this moment, I think it does factor into why they're 1-3.
I'm looping that into injuries too. I'm just putting that all because it was an injury that led to him not being able to do this. That is like this not being able to get in shape. Also, that one of the last plays, Isaiah Hartenstein gets that like layup right over him.
Tough, yeah.
Late in the game, like that's another example of this.
I mean, I was joking in the middle of the game of like Hartenstein's the reason why AD doesn't want to play the five.
I said it on the show last night. I completely agree. You saw it where he was just like, man, he's out hustling him and all that. And
big
now,
body, just down low, just constant.
Athletic.
Yeah, it's like, all right, can Lively come back in here for this?
Well, now Anthony Davis is on the injury report. He's probable for the Wednesday game against the Pacers with a bilateral Achilles tendinopathy. How good did I do at that? Hold on. Wait, just 1 second.
I'm not a doctor, so I don't know.
So he's on there. But also Dereck Lively is on the injury report as well. He's doubtful again for Wednesday's game, and it was a right knee contusion, which is just like a deep bruise. Now he's on there for a right knee sprain. And like now I'm starting to get concerned. I wasn't concerned about the contusion at all because that's a bruise that'll heal up fine, great. Now he's on there, and Gafford is still on there. He's doubtful with right ankle sprain. The timetable for Gafford was 3 to 4 weeks. Wednesday, Isaac Harris is 5 weeks.
Sheesh.
I was not concerned a couple days after, like, okay, a couple days after the timeline, fine. But like an extra week, we're talking 25%, 33 to 25%.
Maybe they're just saving him for Mexico.
Maybe they are. But it has affected the identity of this team because they haven't been able to play these double bigs. They haven't been able to play the bigs. And now Anthony Davis has to play the 5 more. And that's affecting him. It's like the injuries to these guys have affected a lot. And I think the injuries is just another reason why, like, one of the Mavs' biggest problems is all that. Like, and there's even more we could go through.
Yeah, I mean, lumping Kyrie in there.
Yeah.
The shoulder thing. I mean, from the get-go with Flagg, the other night. I mean, he was messing with his left shoulder the entire game.
He had a
switch
heat
shirts
pad on it every time he went to the bench.
Yeah, switch shirts, all the stuff, and it just clearly messed with him. And
could you see his shirt like from where you're sitting or on the broadcast?
No.
He got his shirt torn. There was a hole in his sleeve that just had like a piece of it. Like it was looking like a torn pirate flag, just like flapping on his arm. And I think that's why he changed his shirt.
Thanks, Hartenstein. No,
one of them.
Yeah. So I mean, injuries for sure, and
absolutely. And then add the Exum injury that add a lot. He's still out with right knee management. He's just out for Wednesday's game. I've been told that he's close to coming back, but I'm just not holding my breath for
Brandon Williams, personal reasons.
Yeah, they're personal. The first couple games he was out was actually personal reasons. This one is, I guess, also personal reasons, but a different kind of personal reasons after the report that he was arrested at the at DFW airport, according to DLLS, our friends over there. And so that is a whole other situation too. But I'll just throw the point guards out there. He was out with a hamstring injury in preseason too, so that affected him. Man, like it just every like you. I looked down the bench last night and like Gafford walked in sweats, Lively walked in sweats, Exum walked in, Brandon Williams walked in sweats. You're just like,
Cooper has the ice pack on.
Cooper's got he had a pack on his shoulder and he had one on one of his knees. And so you're just like, what is going on with this team already? Like, just felt like the end of last season again.
Game 4.
I mean, yeah,
and
game 4 of
AD's
the season.
Out on the floor, so.
80's out on the floor, and 80 broke a pair of glasses. I forgot to say this on the show last night.
Yeah.
I think we had the first pair of broken glasses. He fell down, and I saw one of the lenses pop out of his glasses and fly. And a kid came over and picked him up and gave it to him, and then they got him another pair of glasses. I think that was the first pair of broken goggles we've had from AD in the year.
He got some new ones.
Yeah, he either got new ones or they fixed them really, really fast, which I guess just popped the lens back in.
Can we talk about Max and Klay?
Coming up, Max and Klay, a problem, but also just personnel in general, problem for the Mavericks. Talk about that. Come on. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by our friends at Peloton. Peloton, it's not just riding a bike anymore. You can run, lift, flex, push, and go with Peloton, shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance in endless ways that you can move. You can do all kinds of stuff, running, lifting, cross-training with your favorite instructors, and all that. All the things you love about Peloton in now different forms. This is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. They track your reps, suggest weights for you, correct your form, make every rep safer and smarter, which is what all of us want. The swivel screen is a game changer as well. You can go from running on the Tread Plus to strength training without missing a beat. So let yourself run, lift, and flex and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. The website is one, Peloton.com.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right, Isaac, we're ranking the Mavericks' biggest problems right now. We've talked about identity. We talked about Anthony Davis's conditioning and injuries that the Mavericks have had issues with. And the next one, I'm curious what your thoughts are on Max and Klay Thompson.
Yeah, Max should start. He
did.
should replace Klay. I love what?
He did start.
No, well, Klay's is struggling right now, and I think it's not to like make excuses. Some of his decision making has clearly been off. Defensively, we know defensively he wasn't the same player still, but it's more of, for me, if they're gonna stay committed to no point guard and some of that, like,
Yep.
it is just really tough for Klay to generate shots in that first unit. Like,
Yeah.
you have no one that can set him up. And at this, like, he's still one of the best shooters in the entire NBA, but passing to Klay on the wing and say, hey, go create something. I'm not trying to do that at this point in Klay's career. So he's got to have people to set him up. And I don't mean to hark on this again, but he was brought in to play off Luka, play off a Kyrie, and Luka's gone for a post guy. Kyrie's out, and they're not even running a point guard right now. So it's really hard to maximize the only like last great thing that Klay does. And so Max is just playing better than him, and Max's point of attack defense is probably worth more than anything right now.
Klay Thompson's 3-point percentage off the top of your head, if you had to guess, through 4 games.
28.
28.6%. Were you really guessing, or did you know that?
No.
Yeah, 28%. Max Christie, 56%. Like that that it can just be made shots or not, but the quality of shots they're taking. And I think the thing about Klay Thompson that I've noticed watching these games is that when Klay Thompson is like running a pick and roll or has the ball in his hands, all of a sudden, like there's no spacing because they are like he's part of the spacing. Like you take in your best spacer out of that, and then you've put him on the ball, and now all of a sudden there's less space in there because everybody else is not as good of a shooter as Klay Thompson for a team that already struggled with space. And so he's not generating clean looks for himself. Nobody's generating clean shots for him. And so that's where you have this issue with Klay Thompson. It's interesting to me though that Max Christie is getting some quality shots. Like I don't even know if I have a theory on that yet. Maybe just more athletic, quicker, getting to spots faster. Like
Yeah, I don't know. I need to see some of the lineup stuff, like who he's playing with. Is he getting more minutes with D'Lo compared to Klay? Not. Klay's been outside of Max starting with that unit against OKC. Klay's been getting a lot of minutes with that starting unit of no point guard, and that's just it's just tough. It doesn't fit Klay's game with that. Love Klay. I'm not saying that Klay is like done or washed or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. It's just the personnel right now and what they're trying to run with no point guard really is just tough for Klay.
Yeah, and personnel was my third problem that I had. If I had to rank the problems, I went identity, injury, and then personnel was my third one. Because of some of the stuff you've been talking about. We talked about all offseason. They need to get a playmaker, need to get a scorer, need to get some kind of shooter, something like that, somebody that can create offense, because you see like the difference that D'Angelo Russell brings to this team when he's on the floor versus when he's not on the floor is just night and day. Imagine if you had two of them. Imagine if you just had one more guy like that.
Well, I love D'Lo in the sense of like, I think, I was very adamant that he's going to be, fine for Dallas this season. But like, imagine if that spot was like a really, really good point guard in the league. It's like, that's the thing about, that was one of the conversations I had after OKC game the other night was, the person was talking about just D'Lo's reputation around the league and how, there's a lot of coaches out there that probably wouldn't play him, but you have to play him because when he comes in the game, he looks like Steve Nash out there because it's like, whoa, like a guy that can dribble and pass and like set some people up and stuff. And it's just wild. You look at the start of the OKC game, they had 2 points until he came in the game, and then they rattle off 10 points. And he generates that shot for Max in the corner. And then, and it's just like, all right. And honestly, my last point in all of this was, I think one of the problems is I think there's a disconnect between Nico's vision and Jason Kidd. And
for sure.
I mean, I think, yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. So
that goes back to identity though, because what did Nico think that this team was supposed to be, right? And what does Jason Kidd think this team was supposed to be? And how does he think actual basketball is won in the NBA? And I think those two things seem to be different right now.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see some similarities in like
big wings
signings in the past of like what was a Nico signing, who is somebody in the past that Nico signs, Nico brings in, and Jason Kidd's just not really about them, and because they're not fitting the system and the all of it. And
Christian Wood.
So you have D'Angelo Russell that comes in, and it's just like you have this, hey, we're gonna build this type of system, and this we're focused gonna be on this. And I as much as whatever they say publicly and on record, I'd still think there's just a disconnect of GM and head coach. But he got extended, so there you go.
By the GM.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Weird times, but they got to figure out the offensive thing. I mean,
were you encouraged by the Thunder comeback?
No, not really. I mean, I was encouraged.
Isn't that so weird? I keep thinking about that today, and I'm like, I was not encouraged, like it, because I started the show yesterday. I was like, it just highlighted what like an oxymoron this team is right now, in that they got that run because they played Anthony Davis at the 5. They played D'Angelo Russell, and Cooper Flagg was not part of it. And so it's like,
no, they got the run because they put two creators in there, in Jaden Hardy and D'Lo. And when you make Jaden Hardy and D'Lo look like Monte Ellis and Steph Curry, then you know that there's something going on. Like, and honestly, like this is, it in a weird way, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like when they put Kyrie with Luka, and you're like, oh my gosh, we got these two creators on the floor, like Brunson with Luka, and it's like, how do you see something like that and see the importance of having two creators out there? An Indiana team who had Andrew Nembhard and Tyrese Halliburton on the floor, two guys that can create and attack and stuff. And it's like you put Hardy in there, and it's like, it's Jaden Hardy, but still the impact of having two guys that can shoot, pass, dribble, create, and it's like, what if we actually invested into that type of structure?
Honestly, this wouldn't be as big of a problem if the defense wasn't as bad as it has been, too. Right?
No.
Right? Like, we would be like, oh, the offense has still got to go, but at least they're defending it. But they're not
I thought they played great defense on SGA. I thought PJ played great defense on him. I thought Max did at times. I mean, SGA only had 2 free throw attempts. 2.
Yeah.
When's that ever going to happen again?
Shout out to the refs for that one.
Yeah. So there was some, I mean, they held them right at 100 points, right?
He didn't have any points in the fourth quarter.
Or like OKC, and it's like, but the like reason I wasn't like super encouraged was because like I love that they didn't give up. They could have just stopped playing, like, you know, and just give up. But go back and watch. I went back and watched a lot of that fourth quarter. Look how many open shots OKC just flat out misses.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're a great 3-point shooting team. They're obviously missing Caruso, Jalen Williams. Like,
I don't know if they're great.
Well, there's a lot of like spacing stuff they have out there with Wiggins, and
they get open ones for sure.
Yeah, they get open ones and stuff. And so some of it, yeah, there's defense. Mavs didn't give up, but it was also some, yeah, but
there's big problems.
Can I ask you this question? One more thing. This is right up your alley too, about defining the season, but I'm not saying
let's go.
But I'm not saying
5
defining.
games in.
Is this game against Indiana must win?
No, still not.
I want to say it is. Depleted Pacers team. Like literally you could suit up.
Injury report for the Pacers. Out, obviously Tyrese Halliburton. Benedict Mathurin is out. Andrew Nembhard is out. Obi Toppin is out.
Yeah.
TJ McConnell is out. It's like
my guy. Who else is out? Who's doubtful, baby?
Johnny Furphy.
No, my guy.
Cam Jones?
Nope. Taylor Peter, baby.
No, he's doubtful. He's not out yet. He's doubtful.
Oh, okay.
He's doubtful.
Liberty Flame. He can light it up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's the last game of the homestand. You've struggled, obviously. You're
Me personally or the team?
No. You're 1-3. You're one of the talks right now around the league of like, man, what is going on right now? And yes, it's the 5th game of this homestand. It's the longest homestand of the entire season for you. And
you're about to have 2 days off before you go to Mexico City and are like on display for the NBA.
And this Pacers team literally has nobody. You cannot let Rick Carlisle come in here and play some voodoo magic and beat you, and you score 91 points. And like, you just can't, man. Like,
who is even on this team to play?
It's gonna be. I mean, Siakam's still there. Siakam puts up like a 50 ball.
Yeah, I'd say Siakam. This is Anthony Davis's time, right? Like it's gotta be. Okay, here's their starting lineup the other night: Pascal Siakam, Jay Huff, Isaiah Jackson, Aaron Nesmith, Ben Shepherd, Jarris Walker, Ray J. Dennis. Did I make that name up, or is that a real NBA player?
No, that's real. Anthony Davis has got to put up like 35 and 15 in this game.
And our old friend Tony Bradley.
Oh, how many bigs they got over there?
I was going to say, just play all bigs.
Jay Huff's pretty good, though. I like him.
Yeah. There you go. Subscribe to the show wherever you're listening, watching this. Let's try to get to 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. We'd love to get there for the Raccoon Squad. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Isaac's going to have one more thing coming up for you later today. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.